Hi there and welcome back. Dan again from CleanGuru. And today's message, embarrassing story, but big lesson for cleaning businesses. Today I'm going to stick with the general theme that folks tend to really like it when I share some of my biggest embarrassing moments or things I messed up or some of the bad situations I got myself into. For some reason that's a real crowd pleaser. So I'll share this with you today in the hopes that it provides maybe a laugh, but maybe also more importantly an insight into what you could do differently or to keep in mind in your cleaning business. Years ago, and when I was a young man, when Tony and I just bought the cleaning business, we had started to get trucks. We bought little, I think they were Ford pickup trucks, and so they were small little two-seaters, and we bought these and we started to put our logo on the outside, and we really liked them. Well, eventually we got up to the point where I think we had 10 or 12 of these, and we had them, like I say, we had our logo on them and we had them numbered, and we took a lot of pride in those trucks to keep them cleaned up and organized. Well, every night we would also clean them out inside because, as you might imagine, sometimes all of a sudden Taco Bell wrappers or fast food wrappers or McDonald's wrappers end up in these vehicles because gentlemen or ladies are grabbing something to eat at night, and of course we were always battling that. Well, that was not so bad. We could kind of deal with that, make people responsible for cleaning up. Well, one day we found a couple open beer cans in the pickup trucks. Well, this was not as funny. This was not something that we had planned on. This was a problem. Open, empty beer cans sitting in the pickup trucks. What in the world, one of the pickup trucks, what in the world was this about? Well, we knew what trucks were assigned to who. Well, every night this is Steve's, every night this is Sally's, so we knew. So boy, I was ticked off about this. What in the world's going on here? I'm going to get to the bottom of this. We got a problem. So I brought Steve in. And so let's say I'm talking to Steve, and I sat down and I said, listen, we know what trucks are assigned to who, and we check them every night, so we know it came from the night you were there, and Steve, this is what we found, and you've got some explaining to do, right? Well, all the while I'm kind of ranting and raving about this, Steve is saying, Dan, just a minute, Dan. Well, finally I said, well, what is it, Steve? You understand what I'm talking about? Steve, what is it you want to say? He said, Dan, the night that you're saying this happened, I was off sick. You had someone else, I think a temporary or somebody else you had here helping out, working that night in my truck. Oh my gosh, you know, I had kind of read him the riot act, and I had not done enough research or my homework enough to know what happened. I assumed, I thought for sure it had to be him. I did a quick check, but I didn't dig into the details enough to know that he was off sick that night. It was someone else. Here's another problem, I got to go a different direction. Well, fortunately that all ended up okay and we got to the bottom of this problem. But to hear after all of this, when I thought I was so righteous and I knew exactly what was happening, I didn't have the right details. So my suggestion to you is, what are the cliches here, right? Walk before you run, make sure you do your homework, listen to people. I was kind of half listening. And I was too emotional and not calm down. In HR, in the cleaning business, as you know, you have to stay calm and you also want to make sure you do your homework. I had not done my homework right that night, and it sure cost me a very embarrassing situation. Could have been worse than embarrassing, but it all ended up okay. Don't let that happen to you. Until next time, remember that you can do this. You really can.